Hello, my name is Dr. Matt Hallam. I just wanted to pass along something that I've learned that I think could be helpful to other professors that are teaching out there, whether you're in the classroom or online. And what that is creating simulations using ChatGPT. So the other day I was preparing for my intro to business class, and I wanted to give the students a real world experience. I could lecture, I could just give PowerPoints and pass along knowledge. But one of my passions is actually giving them skills that they can take out of the classroom. And I wanted them to get a taste of what it was like to be a business owner and make some of those decisions. So I was using ChatGPT to try to come up with case scenarios. And then I wanted to have variable outcomes. I was going to print it out on paper, and it was just getting complicated. And I finally thought, what if I just created a prompt in ChatGPT that I could send to students, and if they plug that into it, then that would allow them to go through the simulation on ChatGPT. So I did it. I had to make a few edits to it, but once I got it fine-tuned, I was able to send it to the students, and it was remarkably successful. The students loved it, felt like they learned some important lessons in the process, and also used ChatGPT in a good way versus the negative ways that often it has had a reputation for. So let me share my screen, and I will let you see just a little bit of what it is that I did to use ChatGPT in this way. Okay, should be able to see my screen. If you haven't used ChatGPT before, it's fairly easy to get into and create an account. If you already have a Google account, then no problem. Just log in using your Google account. That's what I have. So what you can do is just search in Google ChatGPT, comes up, click on that link at the top of the page, and there you are. It says message ChatGPT. And this should be the screen that you come to. I created a prompt. What is a prompt? It's just instructions. They're not anything fantastic. You don't have to be a coder or anything, but I just typed out there what I wanted it to do. There are some things to look at, so I'll kind of work through this. But here's basically what it is I wanted to lead the user through a choose your own adventure storyline, so simulation that focused on running a cleaning service business. The goal that I wrote in here is to guide business owners through a series of critical decisions, with each choice impacting the business success, financial health, and growth trajectory. Here are the key requirements. So you need to put this in here. You can just type it in, and you'll fine tune it as you go along, because you can try it, try on error. And if it doesn't work out, go back to it, fine tune your prompt. But I added these things in because this helped to fine tune what it was that I was wanting it to accomplish. The decision structure: present a single decision at a time. So that is key to write in there, because you don't want it to give you 8, 9, 10 decisions all at once. I want it to come up just one at a time. And as they answer the question and make a decision for each of those, it moves them on to the next step. I also put in here, offer 3 to 4 choices for each decision point. So I don't want it to be 50-50. I want them to have a range of decisions, because that's often how I feel it is in the business world, is that we have a range of decisions that we can make. And I wanted them to have those options there. Each choice should reflect a different approach with unique pros and cons. So it gives them some of that information, so they're learning as they do it. And there's a financial impact with it. Each decision should include an investment cost, how much it's going to cost you, and also potential return on investment. The business starts with $10,000, which adjusts based on the choices made, and outcome variety. So not everything's going to be rosy. What I said here was design choices to lead to various outcomes, some being failure, some mediocre results, or some success, based on financial health and customer satisfaction at the end of the storyline. And then at the end, after 8 decisions, so it needs to come to an end. You don't want it to be something that goes on indefinitely. But I decided on 8 decisions. You could make it less, you could make it more. Then it would give a final summary. So it's going to include a brief analysis of what went well, what could have been improved. So it's actually giving them that feedback live right there. It's going to include some of the analysis of what were the key choices that they made. And then here's an example at the end. So it just goes through a summary of what it was that I wanted to do again. Example of a decision prompt structure: prompt a single decision with 3 to 4 choices, include a brief description of each choice, and the investment needed and an estimated ROI. Proceed with only one decision prompt at a time. Continue this process until the storyline concludes, incorporating the outcomes of each choice into future prompts and providing an engaging, realistic simulation of business decision making. So that was the prompt. What happens is I emailed it to the students in advance. I broke them up into 2 to 3 students and I gave them this prompt. They entered it in and then just hit this button. And all of a sudden it launches them into the simulation. So here you can see that it's launching them into an interactive business adventure. You're the owner of a brand new cleaning service. It gives them the storyline, and then it takes them to their first decision. And this is here, branding your cleaning service. And what I found was that every team, I had 6, 7 teams across the room of different students doing this. Every different team had a slightly different experience. Some of them were similar, but none of them were exactly the same. And while they all followed the parameters that were put in here, they all had a very different experience, which kept them from maybe just copying each other as far as decisions. It led to critical thinking. And putting them in groups of 2 or 3 kept them from just doing, I'm going to choose all A's or B's, but they actually discussed the scenarios as they went along, which I felt was important for the learning experience. Here they have 3 decisions that they need to make. Again, it's got the investment, it's got the estimated ROI. It also has up here a description of what it is you can choose. At this point, we're going to go with probably a bad decision, but we're going to do with the budget branding package for our cleaning business. So everyone choose one. And then that leads us on. It gives us a summary of our decision, tells us how much we still have left in our budget, and then it goes on to the next decision. So it'll take them through 8 different decisions. At the end of that, they get ROI. I had them type in, what's my estimated net income for the first year of business, and then they were kind of competing against each other in the classroom. So we ranked them from best decisions made to the worst decisions made and had each of them present on that. I did this also. I teach cultural diversity, so I did this in my class. I made some changes to my prompt. So rather than basing it off ROI, I based it off relational impact. I had them as a family go into a different culture and have to go through something very similar to this, where they made decisions in that different culture, and that was an interesting experience as well. So it's a free option. I feel like it's a powerful tool that we should and can use in the classrooms. You can take the prompt that I put here. You can see that on the screen. I also include it in the description down below so that you can get that prompt if you want to, just a sample, and tweak that, or you can make up your own. But I feel like that this is a game changer for in the classroom, but also I can see it as being a powerful way to engage students online, so that, rather than just give them a question about discussion, maybe you put them through one of these simulations online and allow their discussion to build off of that, or to have them do the simulation and then write a paper on their experience. I think there's a lot of different things you can use. I think this can go into a lot of different disciplines. I've used it in cultural diversity. I've used it in business. I can imagine it working in counseling or in ministry or in many other different subjects where you want them to interact with people that maybe have different beliefs, or interact with people that are coming from a different culture, or, working them through kind of that counselor perspective with someone else that's responding back to them that maybe has a specific issue, and just giving them a taste of what it would be like to really encounter some of these things in the real world. So hopefully it's helpful. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me.